Fat Dag is a Weight Watchers leader in Indianapolis, Indiana. However, the views and opinions expressed during this podcast are his own. They do not represent the views of Weight Watchers. And now, here's your host and wingman, Fat Dag.
I am your host, Fat Dag. You're listening to Wise Advice. My weight loss journey failed when I focused on how. It wasn't until I switched my focus to why that I truly transformed myself. Join the show on the web at fatdag.com and follow along on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, all at Wise Advice. Send in your comments, your questions, your celebrations. I'll include them as part of the show. But before we dive in, remember, when you're out of points, stop eating points. Hey, I'm honored to be your wingman as we walk through this journey together because I believe in you. That's right. I believe in you. I'll open every single show with that because there is nothing that is more true than I believe in you. And I got to get a opening show here. Huge shout out to the amazing folks who met me in Philadelphia, or west of Philadelphia. Nottingham, Pennsylvania is really where we were. We couldn't find a 5K in Philadelphia proper, but we found one in Nottingham, not far away. And I tell you, it was an absolute blast. I think I lost count. Somewhere around 30 of you showed up. We had an amazing time. It was a pretty grueling 5K. I will tell you that I did not anticipate that they were going to mow the field that we were going to run through that morning. My socks were soaking wet. It was uphill, I think, the entire way. But that didn't stop any one of us. And so every single one of us went out there. We crushed it. We set our own pace. We set our own time. We did it as a team. We completed, an amazing race. It was absolutely fun to see in the field of about, I think there was probably 80 or some people there. We easily had a third of the entire group was part of the Fat Dag movement or the Operation Fat Dag or whatever you want to call it, the Wise Advice team. So thank you all for being out there. The international tour rolls on. The next one here is going to be in Indianapolis. It's coming right up, September 8th, Saturday, September 8th here in Indy. It's the Indy Ultimate. If you've registered on fatdag.com, you should be getting an email this week. Coming up soon to give you some more detail about that. But just before that, I got to tell you, New York City is now on the list. It wasn't before, but New York City is coming up on September 5th and 6th. On September 5th, Keith has planned an amazing trip. I gave him a pretty good window of where we're going to be. We're going to be at Rockefeller Center, 4 o'clock Eastern Time on September 5th. So if you're in the area, meet us there. If you can't make it early, I get it, but we're probably going to hang out there for many hours. So certainly hang out there. But so that's September 5th in New York City. I'm there for the filming of a TV show. It's actually going to be kind of cool. The name of the show is called Let's Talk with Jody Daly. So go ahead and Google that. It's just kind of a neat show. So we'll figure out how that goes. So that's coming up in New York, and then we follow that right up with Indianapolis. Then we go out to Washington, D.C., and then we end the international tour in San Francisco. You can join in the fun by going to fatdag.com, clicking on the events tab, and pre-registering. Let me know you want to be there. I will let you know where I'm going to be, when and where. So that catches you up there. On the way back from Philadelphia, completely spontaneously, I was out driving, and there's two ladies out of Columbus, Cheryl and Marcia. You probably know them. They're both on Facebook at the moment, and so we were chatting back and forth, and they said, "Well, why don't you come up to Cleveland?" I said, "Well, Cleveland's not on the stop. I can't make it to Cleveland," and so we arranged that. I drove out to Philadelphia and drove back, and I had to drive right through Columbus. I said, "Here, I'll tell you what. If you want to meet for dinner on my way back from Philadelphia, I will stop in Columbus if you want to meet." So we did. And so at, 9:15, 9:40, somewhere in that time block, I pull into Cracker Barrel and we sit down and we have the most amazing dinner. It was absolutely fun. I had eggs and I had some bacon and I had some toast. It was just, at 10 o'clock at night, and, I didn't get home until close to 4 that next day, but it was so fun sitting there. We sat in closed Cracker Barrel. We sat in the rocking chairs for hours, just looking up at the stars or the planes or the planets, whatever those lights were in the sky. We didn't really know. There was I think it was Mars, and Cheryl thinks it was an airplane. We're not exactly sure, but it was absolutely perfect. I kind of let them both know that there have been a handful of times in my journey where I've actually, a handful of times in my entire life when I've actually sat down and just taken a moment to take in just the quiet and just the serenity of just being with company that makes sense. And so we had an amazing time. We sat there for hours and hours and hours and hours. And I want to share an email or a note that Cheryl handed me. And so great conversations we had. And Cheryl at the end, she said, "Hey, I've written this a couple times and I want to give it to you." And she promised me not to read it until I got home. And so I didn't. And so I got home, and the next day I read it, and I said, "Yeah, this has to go on episode 215." We'll talk about the why after, but let me open the show with what Cheryl wrote in. She says, "Dear Fat Dag, first, thank you for your service to our country and for the wingman community. Without wise advice and the wise wingman, I would have stopped trying. I drafted an email in January 2018. I had sent it from my phone. I'm not sure if you ever received it. I had started with, I'm struggling with life. And I was. My son had relapsed again. I was having audio and visual flashbacks from childhood. My stress at work was unrealistic. I wasn't going to meetings. I couldn't get a response from a church that I was considering visiting. I felt completely hopeless. I heard about Fat Dag and Wise Advice on Connect. I decided to check it out. I listened to a podcast, then another. I could relate to so many of the stories. You were telling people to seek support groups for dealing with an addiction in their families. You talked about attendance, and then Wayupsep was echoing in my head. If it were really that simple, I kept listening. Yes, it really is that simple. Then I came across a post on Facebook for a church that was local, which led me to a support group for parents of addicts. And I found a Weight Watcher meeting that I could attend without interfering with my dog's schedule, my work, or anything. I walked in to see the leader who I loved from a previous join and quit episodes of my life. She remembered me. She gave me a hug. She said, "I am so glad to see you." I almost started crying. How is it all falling into place? Was God really listening to my cries for help? I had to figure out how to deal with the flashbacks. I still hear my mother telling me that I'm fat, ugly, and retarded, and that no one will ever want me. I still remember the fear from her sitting on me and hitting me. She hated me. I was hearing my grandfather whispering in my ear, "If you tell anyone, I will kill you," as he was touching me inappropriately. How do I get past all of that? It was the mental part of this journey I was not prepared for. One day, as I was feeling these past things and heard the words over and over again in my head, I said out loud, "You lied to me. I am not fat and ugly and retarded. You did not kill me. I did more than just survive this." I realized that nothing they said or did to me was strong enough to stop me. After all, I finally got my associate's degree that proves I'm not retarded. I'm not really ugly, and I'm going to lose weight, and my grandfather, he is dead. He hadn't killed me. All of this is part of my past. A story that I started writing about. That's when the flashback started. This is something that had to be dealt with and put behind me so that I could move forward. I still have difficulty with my son's addiction. He is homeless and he refuses to go into a recovery program. I have a journal that is just for my feelings and experiences with him. It helps to write it and let it go. I have to face the reality of what could happen. I got a tattoo on my shoulder with his name to show him that I love him. We talk about it. He knows that I love him. And we talked about him being responsible for himself. I did not teach him how to use drugs. I can't change this for him. And I know that nothing I do or say can control his addiction. It was a hard but necessary lesson for me. I still have fluctuations on the scale, but the trend is more downward. I have received so much love, support, and understanding from my fellow wingmen, and it keeps me going. I have been struggling to reach my 50-pound milestone for 2 years. I will not give up. To you, And to all the wingmen, I extend a heartfelt thank you. Cheryl. Well, Cheryl, you know exactly what I'm going to say because we had much of this conversation sitting on the porch in Cracker Barrel, rocking into the wee hours of the night. And I'll open it all with what an amazing person you are. The amazing strength that you have is just unparalleled in so many other places on this planet. And I know you now know that. I know you know how strong you are, and I know that you know that we are all here for you. And I think one of the things that we often deal with throughout this journey is we believe that what we're going through, we're the only ones going through it. And what you've now understood is that your journey, as painful as it is to put to paper, and I'm sure as painful as it is to sit here and listen to it right now, it's equally and more painful for someone else who's living a parallel life to yours. And at this point, they don't have the strength to even put the word to paper. And you've done that for them. And the strength that you've shown by letting others know that they're not alone is the most valuable gift that you could give back to society. And so you are amazingly strong, and your journey is going to continue. Your journey will continue for as long as you understand that the strength that it takes to power your journey comes from you. And so that strength is what is the story that I really want to focus on. Is so, we certainly cannot change your past. And in a lot of ways, I believe it's molded you into exactly who you are, and how cool and awesome was it to sit with you and just share, an amazing evening. And so, if we think about all the things in life that shaped us, and so we may not have ever met if we didn't have these amazing stories to share with the world. And so I'm incredibly grateful for that opportunity to sit with you and to walk with you throughout this journey. And so, I follow along a little bit on Facebook. I see that it looks like your son is working to get his feet back underneath him. That's what I saw on Facebook, and I'm glad to hear that. And I really just want you to know more than anything that this community understands. This community is here for you. This community is a safe place for you to just show other people what winning looks like. Winning isn't always, from day one. You don't win from day one. The only way to win is to understand what it feels like and looks like not to win. And so when you go through these periods of life where you don't feel like you're winning, and then when you come out the other side, that's where the true victory is. So keep up the amazing work. Continue to be the awesome person you are. We're going to have to maybe meet at Cracker Barrel at 2 a.m. at some point to do that. But thank you for handing me this beautiful letter. Thank you for truly putting it to paper. And and for all of you out there, this is what it's all about, is when you take a moment to share. If you sent in an email, if it didn't make it to the air, go ahead and resend it. There are times when my inbox just kind of blows up, but certainly shoot another one to me, or as Cheryl did, beg me to stop in your city, and we'll meet at Cracker Barrel, and you can hand it to me directly. But Cheryl, thank you again. You're an amazing, huge inspiration, and so thank you for doing that. Keep up the amazing work. Wishing you incredible focus. You know the deal there. So thank you as well. Judy out of Seattle writes next, and she says, well, hi, Fat Dag. I'm writing to you with a huge lump in my throat. Since I missed the live show of episode 210, I finally caught it this morning. By far, the bonus video with the Facebook after show proved to be one of the most impactful discussions about weight loss and its associated mental journey that I have ever heard. The dialogue of your 5 questions truly hit home for me, and it hit hard. I had to admit to myself that the honest answer to the question, do you believe you can do this? It literally dropped me to my knees. I stumbled, I hesitated, I looked down at the floor. The only answer I could muster was, well, no, I guess not. I don't believe it will happen. How can someone who's very successful in nearly all things that she does not believe in herself to get to goal? My doctor's weight for my goal is 160 pounds. I actually got down to within 1 pound of that last year. It was at that point I promptly turned tail, headed the other direction to gain 16 pounds back. Sabotage. Why would I do that? Episode 210 helped me unlock an understanding of why I didn't reach goal. Because I don't believe. Interestingly enough, I do wholeheartedly believe that our minds are a powerful thing to harness, and weight loss itself proves to be largely a mental challenge. Whatever thoughts we hold, we will always strive to make ourselves right. I've started Weight Watchers many times before, plus lots of other plans as well, but always to no avail. I have never finished reaching my ultimate goal. Hence, I find myself continually asking, why would this time be any different? Well, how about a small ounce of faith? You said you would believe in me, at least until I can believe in myself. Others in this community also believe. I am very blessed to have family and friends that believe. Everyone is happily supportive. I've watched many folks reach their goal and obtain lifetime. Logic alone would tell you this program works. After all, did I not just get to within 1 pound of my goal for chimney snakes? Consequently, today, I took your advice. I wrote it all down. Honest answers to your questions. I wrote down my why, recapturing that pissed off feeling that led me back to Weight Watchers in 2016. I proudly listed 27 reasons, non-scale victories, for not heading back up the scale. 27 non-scale victories. Proof, beyond proof, that Weight Watchers works. So here sits this girl, still here, a rock star holding my head up high. I'm back to measuring and honestly tracking each day. I'm still down 48 pounds that we all know that just didn't happen by accident. Even if the scale isn't moving in the desired direction currently, I'm confident it will again. This morning's work has been very important. Thank you, Mike, for posting the bonus after show of episode 210. It truly unlocked yet another lesson for me in this journey. If you vow to keep believing in me, then I will vow to keep on keeping on, learning and moving forward. I can't wait to write to you in 16 more pounds with the title line proudly captioned, I believe. I finally believe. Wishing you all good focus. Judy out of Seattle. Judy, what a beautiful email. Thank you for writing in and sharing. And episode 210 was popular. It's the episode I call my rant. And I just really, I open every show by telling you I believe in you. And I cannot state this enough. I truly mean that. It's not a catchy line that I use at the front of the show. It is me honestly trying to convince you that I believe in you. I believe in you because I've seen so many people do it, and I know what it takes to do it, and you have the capability to do it. Every single one of you. So when you sit there and start your journey, I don't expect that you believe that at first. I don't expect that on day one of you signing up, that every single person who signs up believes they can accomplish it. Now, I believe everyone who signs up wants it to happen, or else you wouldn't sign up. But there is a distinct difference between wanting it to happen and getting out there making it happen. That's what belief is about. And when you believe in yourself, then everything you do aligns with you wanting to make it happen. Whatever thoughts we hold true, we will always strive to make right. That's been said so many times. And the other is whatever the mind believes, the body will achieve. Whether you think you can or whether you think you can't, you're right. It's all the mental challenge that we're up against. Now, certainly there are some medical issues that we haven't even explored, and I'm not a doctor, so I don't even touch that side of this equation. But regardless of what's going on medically in your life, you can still eat properly. You can still do some form of movement. It doesn't even have to be called exercise at this point. You can just simply do more than you're currently doing today, and you can eat better and healthier than you are today. You can do that regardless. And so that is why I believe in you, because that piece alone is incredibly easy. we're all in the same boat as where we start this journey time and time again. And some of us, or most of us, we start and stop and start and stop, and we get so close to getting to goal. I think in your case, that 1 pound from goal was exactly that. It was that true identity changing. And when you get to the point where all of a sudden now you're not a person who wants to lose weight, when your whole life you've wanted to lose weight, we have to understand how to deal with that. And it's not exactly easy. So when I ask you, the question is, do you believe you can do this? If you don't instantly respond with a yes, that's okay. But what you need to know about that pause or that hesitation is that is a mental barrier that you put up against yourself that is allowing you to not get there. I was talking with Kitty on the phone earlier this afternoon, and I asked the same questions like, did you rob a bank this afternoon? As soon as I asked that question, everyone goes, no. For those of you who say yes, that's a whole different podcast, and we'll get to that later. But if I asked you right now, did you rob a bank today? Without hesitation, you say no. No, I did not. You're foolish. What are you even talking about? But if I ask you, do you believe you can do this? If you don't immediately respond with, yes, I believe I can do it, and you say it with conviction and you mean it, then that's okay at this point. What you just need to know is that there is a community that we have built together that does believe in you. A community that believes you can do this. And what I'm asking you to do is to lean on that community to provide your support for you. And so what the community asks you to do, the community asks you to check in frequently. The community asks you to share your story. The community says, just be here for other wingmen and watch and post and watch people succeed. And just continue to work the program and do not quit. That's all you're asking. So if you're at that point where I say, do you believe you can do it? And the first response isn't yes, that's okay. We believe you can do it, and we're here to watch you get it done. Now, for those of you who say, yeah, I do believe I can do it, you're clearly rocking the program, and you're absolutely having the success. And so here you are, episode 210, the rant gets us all the way back to getting it written down. And Judy, one of the things that you said is you finally took the advice and said, I'm going to write this down. And I'm glad that you did, because that feeling we talked about in episode 210, that feeling of why you joined in and why you were angry enough to walk into the meeting room, that's the feeling that I want you to capture quickly. Because as soon as you start having success, then that feeling starts going away, and I don't want you to have to go back and relive it. I really would just rather have you go back and reread it rather than relive it. So watching so many other folks reach their goal, obtain lifetime, it does prove that this is doable. No matter what's going on in your life, you can do it. And if the scale isn't moving in the direction you want, that's okay. At times, that's okay to learn and to take notes and to just really figure it out. But the reality is that it's not quitting. If the scale isn't giving you the result you want, it doesn't mean you quit, because if you're still checking in with that data point, then what that tells me is that you're still committed to doing it. We've just got to figure out what it is specifically for you. I firmly believe that 16 more pounds, you're going to write in, you're going to use the caption, I believe, I finally believe. I actually even go one step further. I think, based on your note, I think you believe now. I think the tide has turned. I think your mindset has finally shifted. I think we've finally gotten through to you in a sense where you now know you can do this. And because you know you can do it, you've decided to write in. You wanted to share that success with others, because it is absolutely amazing to watch other people have the same level of success that's capable for all of us, and that you're doing that. So great job getting it down. There is nothing more powerful than the pen to the paper and getting this done. I get it when people want to type it out. I understand that, and that works too, to an extent. But man, putting that pen on the paper really, really does something slightly different in this journey for all of us. So Judy, keep up the amazing work. Thanks for being a great wingman. Thanks for getting it done. And we'll see you in the Wise Wingman Facebook group soon. Next email I want to share comes in from Lisa. And Lisa also says, Dear Mike, episode 210 was life-changing. Hey, I'm really glad I didn't catch it live. I needed to be able to pause it and think about it. The soapbox was so profound, I needed time to process it slowly, and it gave me the courage to write what I'm about to write. Thank you for your raw reality check. I needed it at this exact time in my journey, so here goes. I haven't struggled my whole life with weight, and I was quote-unquote normal weight. I participated in sports in high school, and I don't remember feeling like I need to lose any weight after having my daughter. I do, however, remember exactly when I made a very conscious decision to not lose weight. It was April 22nd, 2002. We had just lost our infant son to a rare genetic condition called Walker-Warburg syndrome. And because it was genetic, we had already decided we are not having any more children. I was heartbroken, and I made a very conscious decision that I would not lose the baby weight. He was only with us for 10 days, and it wasn't long enough. So I held my still tender baby belly and said to myself, I would keep it because it would be a reminder of him. That was the hardest thing I've ever had to overcome. Just like you talked about in episode 210, it was that episode that also finally pushed me to sit down and write this out. I've been wanting to for months, but I never really took the time until I listened to what you called a soapbox after reading Lindsay's letter. Way to go, by the way, Lindsay. I believe in you too. I also remember when I decided it was time to give up the baby weight and time to focus on me. It was the end of 2016, and big changes were coming in 2017. I found out I was losing my job due to budget cuts, and I was forced to find something new. My daughter was graduating from high school, which meant empty nesters for my husband and I. It was then that I decided 2017 was going to be my year to focus on me. In my mind, I call 2017 the year of Lisa. I found a new job that was way less stress, and I'm loving it, and I began looking forward to watching my daughter move on to the next stage in her life. She's turning into an amazing adult. I knew one of the things I needed to do was to lose weight. The baby weight I'd held on to since 2002 had turned into the weight of the teenager my son never got to be. I was now obese, miserable, was on medication for high blood pressure and high cholesterol. I'd been on Weight Watchers before, and I tried a couple of other plans, but never really got long-term and never really got a good solid why. My mom had been having great success on Weight Watchers, and I thought to myself, that's it. I'm joining again as soon as my daughter leaves for college. I spent the summer of 2017 enjoying my life and gaining a few more pounds, knowing that I had a plan. My daughter moved out August 18th, 2017, and I walked into Weight Watchers August 24th. It hasn't been easy, but with a huge amount of support from my husband, my daughter, my mom, and actually all of my family, I started to lose weight and feel better. In November of 2017, a few coworkers and I started working out together every day. I haven't been someone who exercised in a very long time, but with support and daily encouragement from it, it's become the highlight of my day. And if they can't make it, I still do it myself. I'm proud to say that on July 5th, 2018, I made goal. And I will be at Lifetime almost 1 year to the day I walked into the Weight Watchers again on August 17th. My mom is coming to the meeting with me to celebrate. I've lost between 55 and 60 pounds, depending on the day, and I feel absolutely amazing. I found your podcast February 2018. I've been listening to new episodes and catching up on the past ones ever since. I binge listened to the last 10 pounds before goal on my 45-minute commute as inspiration from everyone's stories. I still have the stretch marks from my pregnancies and a couple of tattoos in memory of my son, so he is still with me always. I know someday I will meet him, but again, honestly, I'm not anywhere ready for that yet. I want to be healthy for many years to come. I plan on taking the time to go back through all of my Connect posts to write down what misery felt like for me along the way. I want to read it, and I don't want to relive it again. I expected to feel better, my original why, but feeling better can mean so many different things, and feeling better has changed along the way for me. It started as not being winded going upstairs, and now it's being not winded running up those same stairs. I could fill up a whole episode about the many ways I feel better. I now expect to continue to feel better and do not want to ever go back to feeling miserable. I will continue to work on what I expect out of this journey, even though that may look different at Lifetime than it did a year ago. Yes, I absolutely believe I can do this thing called Lifetime. Staying at goal for these 6 weeks has been more difficult than I thought it would be. But YES, I can do this. I can do this because of my amazing support network, because of the continuous support I get from my tribe on Connect, and because of the people like you who have never met, yet because I know Minnesota is on the 2019 tour, right? I also know that I can do this because I'm worth it. I will break through the barriers as I encounter them because I am worth it, and nothing will be worse than losing my son. You're right. Tracking is absolutely nothing compared to that. Exercise is absolutely nothing compared to that, and I am only responsible for my success or my failure. Thanks for believing me, and I look forward to someday meeting up with you on your tour. Lisa on Connect as LTHIELMAN. Lisa, what a heartbreaking email, and first and foremost, my heart goes out to you and your entire family. Can't even imagine. I've never been in that scenario. And so, the best I can tell you is I'm sorry. It's been some years now, but that doesn't erase any of this. I get that. And so, I think it's very incredible and how awesome you are to be able to understand, very deliberate, parts of your journey. And so, as you said, you made a deliberate decision not to lose weight, or a very conscious decision not to lose weight on April 22nd, 2002. I get that. Conceptually, I get that. I've never lived through it, and so therefore I can't relate 100%, but I understand the mindset of wanting to hold on and wanting to preserve this, and that feeling like that was the way to do it. And for so long, you carried that around with you. And then it just continued to grow and expand from there. And so I'm glad to see that episode 210, continued to help you along your journey. And way to give a shout out to Lindsay in the middle. Thanks, Lindsay. So many of us owe you for me getting this on this rant to get it out there, because it was very, very deliberate. But you've gone through a lot, and so losing your job, and so obviously we know that's a blessing, because you turn around and you found a job with way less stress. And the year of Lisa is the year when you finally made it all happen. I don't think that happens by coincidence. I think very deliberate in our journey is when we finally say to ourselves, we're putting us first. Everything else seems to fall in place. And so we can be, obese, we can be miserable, we can be on high blood pressure medicine. And a lot of that is us saying, okay, I don't want to live that way. I don't want to be winded walking up a flight of stairs. And so as the year of Lisa, we call it, comes around, and you say, I'm putting me first. I call that focus. I call that you getting to the point where you say, I need to prioritize me. And in prioritizing you, that is focus. So every decision you made from that point forward was focused on, what does healthy look like? What does losing weight feel like? What am I trying to accomplish? And as you sat there and write out every little thing that happened to you, that's how you reach goal. You finally come to terms with wherever you are in your life. Whatever we have going on, it's our life to manage. Regardless of how amazing it is or how amazing it can be, it's our job to manage that. And so when you put yourself first and you said, I am making this my year, well, that's how you lost 55 to 60 pounds. And I love the word you use is, I feel absolutely amazing. I try so hard to ask people when people tell me they reach goal, or if people tell me they reached Lifetime, of course they know they look great. There's no question about that. We can sense that, we can see that, we can feel that. The mirror confirms that for us. I want to take it one step beyond that, and I want to say, great, how do you feel? Because I think so often it's that feeling that's going to keep you there. It's that feeling that's going to get you to stay in that groove to get it done. That's what I want us to tap into. So I want you to start doing that. When someone reaches goal, when they make it, when they finally get there, ask them, how does it feel? And really start listening and reading the responses you get. It's kind of really fun to see the response because they almost always respond with, it feels amazing, it feels great, it feels incredible. Words that we didn't necessarily use at the beginning of our journey. Now, certainly our journey, our lives can be, full of fun. I'm sure, all throughout your life, there's probably been other scenarios that you haven't written out that were actually amazing. And so what's probably happened is as we're focused so much on the things that weren't going right, it sometimes masks all that. So I want to bring that feeling back to the front and say, focus on the amazing things you have going on in your life. Focus on how amazing it feels. Continue to rock every single bit of this. I'm glad to see you going back through Connect and looking at all your past posts and writing down what misery felt like along the way, because reading it is truly way better than reliving it. And so it is good to capture that. If you follow me on all the social channels, I'm on, of course, everywhere, Connect and Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. I try very hard to post the amazing things that are going on. Sure, I have just the opposite, but it's not that I'm unwilling to share them. It's just that I have so many other things that are going right in my life. I don't really have time to post everything. So I don't really want to post the negative stuff because I don't want that entering my brain. I want to refocus and reshape every bit of my journey. And that's what you're doing here as you continue to walk through this. And so the amazing support network that you built around yourself, your tribe, your family, every single one of those people know that you will break through whatever barriers that are put in front of you. Nothing can be worse than what you've already gone through. And you've done amazing things to get to where you are. Through all of this, through all of the adversity, through every single thing that you had, you came out a winner. In all areas of your life, you're winning. Man, I'm incredibly proud to read your email because it's just so much fun for me to talk to people who are winning in life and just getting it done and who finally figured out that the secret to life is to put them first. So Lisa, thank you so much for your amazing email, and all that you've done. And thank you also for using your strength and your courage to share that with our community. It's truly, truly an honor. Hildy writes in and says, Dear Mike, I've been listening to your podcast faithfully for months, and I have become a regular member of the Wise Wingman group on Facebook. But tonight, I'm putting pen to paper and I'm sharing my why. Let me first share a little bit about myself. I have what I consider success with Weight Watchers, joining for the last time in 2007 and reaching a lifetime in 2011. I had done Weight Watchers many times before, starting at 17 years old, and I tried pretty much every diet and quick fix out there. All of those attempts failed because my heart wasn't in it. I was always doing it to fit into a certain size or to please my family or to follow my doctor's orders, but I wasn't doing it for me, so I never really lost more than a few pounds, and I certainly didn't keep them off. In committing myself to Weight Watchers this last time and thinking of it as a lifestyle, I found success and lost 30 pounds, and I kept it off for 6 years. I made it a point when I reached lifetime to weigh in every single week and attend my weekly meeting in order to stay accountable and not allow myself to veer off the journey that I've embraced. In the past 4 years, I've taken up running and I've participated in 5 5Ks, 2 10Ks, 2 half marathons, with a third coming up early in September, and a 5-miler. I work with a trainer twice a week, and I'm doing things at 49 that I never thought possible. I'm stronger and leaner today than I was in my 20s, 30s, and 40s. So why am I writing to you? With my regular attendance at meetings and exercising 5 days a week and following the program with tracking, I have seen my weight go up several pounds above my goal weight, and I haven't been able to turn things around. I heard how with the inches I've lost and the muscle I've gained that it could be why that I've gained. I'm told by my doctor that I'm doing everything right with following Weight Watchers and being active, and he isn't concerned with my recent gain. I've had blood tests done to see if anything was behind the gain, and fortunately, there is no underlying cause. My cholesterol numbers have never been better, and I'm now being told it's a fact of life for this almost 50-year-old wife and mom of 5. My why is to accept myself and be as healthy as I can be, both physically and emotionally. I still see myself in the mirror as the heavier version of me after being a total of 45 pounds from my highest weight. I'm going to learn to celebrate what I have accomplished and how far I've come rather than what I've yet to do and where I went wrong. I thank you and all the wingmen and wing women in the group who inspire and motivate me with their successes and even their struggles, because I know that I'm not alone in this journey. Hildy, on Connect is mom of 5, 68 on Instagram, and Triangle Mom on Connect. Sorry. So, what a cool mind shift here. You've gone through an amazing journey and had an amazing success. You understand that the key to this journey is not quitting. The key to this journey is accepting who you are as a healthy, fit, active person. And that's where the success in your email comes from. So as you've now continued to change your journey, continue to work on yourself, continue to be the best version of yourself. The things I heard in your email were things that were like, I work with a trainer twice a week. I'm doing things at 49 I never thought were possible. You're in stronger and leaner today than you were in your 20s, 30s, or even your 40s. Your doctor isn't concerned. You're checking in with a doctor regularly. The blood tests come back normal. So folks, one of the things we have to understand about this journey is there is a scale number that many of us fixate our brain on. And I get that. I really do. I understand that pure number that validates your success, or you believe that validates your success. I understand what that's like to want to step on that and see a number that you haven't seen before. But the things that you can't measure is exactly what you've written down and captured, which is actually incredible. You're leaner, you're stronger, you're more healthy. You're running marathons and half marathons and 5Ks and 10Ks like they're nothing. You're just out there getting it done. And so what I want you to do is I really do want you to accept you for who you are currently, both physically, amazingly physically, and emotionally. And I understand that same reflection of looking in the mirror and seeing yourself 45 pounds heavier, but you have to understand that's part of your life and that's part of your life history. It's not going to go away, but what you can do is write down the amazing things that you continue to do. And, a 50-year-old mom of 5 who's out running half marathons, 5Ks, 10Ks, writing them down. I bet you as you started writing this email, you had to spend some time getting those numbers accurate. So that's pretty cool. There's many people who can't even add to their number, whether you had to sit there for a minute and go, okay, let's see, 5K, I did this one, I did that one, okay, the 5Ks, and then I did 10Ks, I did that one, oh yeah, I did that one. And there's probably a guess that somewhere in there you missed one and you had to go back and edit it. That's just a complete guess. And so think about that. That's not a story you would have written in a couple years ago. That's not a story that many of us open this up with. Hey, dear Mike, when I first started Weight Watchers, I was running 5Ks, 2 10Ks, and I decided I wanted to lose weight on top of it. Generally, that's not how it works. So being a regular at your meeting, exercising 5 days a week, following the program with tracking, you're doing all of the right things. Celebrate those. Celebrate the things that you're doing right rather than the one thing. And I wanted to share this at the opening of the show, but it fit in better here. And Lee on Twitter has an amazingly profound tweet. And I asked the other day is why do we, as people, why do we allow our brains to take over when we see something negative? And so the analogy is you can get 18,000 comments on Connect that all say great job, and the one person that says you can do better, you're going to remember that. So you could be out there, and running a 5K, and you could miss a PR or your personal record by 3 seconds. And that could be like, oh man, I know I missed my goal. And really what happens is you're so focused on the negative. And what Lee said is you can take, any positive number, multiply it by a positive number, and the result is going to be positive. You can take the largest positive number and multiply it by the smallest negative number, and the number becomes negative. So as we shift our brain, as we shift our journey, what I want you to do is I want you to take all the positive experiences in your life and I want you to multiply them by other positive experiences. That's what it means to accept yourself and be as healthy as you can, both physically and mentally. When you continue to focus there, when you continue to understand that every positive thing you multiply to the rest of the positive things you have going on in your life continues to get that much better, and you go able to celebrate and be this version of you for the rest of your life. And at that point, we just jump up and down and celebrate. It's absolutely worth celebrating. What is it that you're celebrating? Let's share it on the air. Go to fatdag.com, click on the Wise Advice podcast link, send in your celebrations, your comments, your questions. I'll work them in as part of the show. You can certainly email in as well on air at fatdag.com. I'll work your email in as part of the show. You guys know the deal. This show is 100% user listener driven. If you don't write in, there is nothing for me to share. And so sharing is what makes this whole thing go along. And I want you to email in your comments, your questions, your celebrations. I really want you to be proud of what you're doing, for one, but I want someone else to hear what you're doing and get a little bit, a taste of the success that you're having. And that will encourage them to continue to have that same level of success. Well, that's going to do it for this time. Remember that losing weight and getting healthy has nothing to do with luck. You have to remain disciplined and focused. Set your sights on your goal and go after it. I wish you good focus. Thank you for listening to the Wise Advice Podcast. Did you know for as little as $1 a month, you can take the next step as a wingman and support the show? Visit fatdag.com, click on Become a Patron today.